You've heard the rumblings. A bike built overseas that doesn't just rival Harley, it destroys it. More power, half the cost, and it's already turning riders' loyalty upside down. Keep watching, because the deeper we go, the harder the truth hits. Who knew the underdog would win? A motorcycle built for the racetrack, at half the price of a cruiser designed for a coffee run. That's not just a clever headline, it's a direct hit to everything riders have been told for decades. Harley-Davidson has long stood atop a throne built on image, tradition, and heavy chrome. Owning one wasn't just about riding, it was about buying into a culture. But now here comes a Japanese predator, the Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R, costing nearly half as much and delivering more than double the performance. It's not a fair fight, it's a generational reset. As of 2024, a Harley-Davidson Ultra Limited starts around 27 lakh rupees in India, or over $30,000 in the US. In contrast, the Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R retails for just under 18.5 lakh rupees, or roughly $17,000. That's a jaw-dropping difference of over $9,000. Enough to buy a second used motorcycle or fund your riding gear, insurance, fuel, and still have change left. And that's not even counting Harley's notorious dealer markups, custom part dependencies, and shipping costs for basic maintenance parts in global markets. The Ninja ZX-10R doesn't just win on price, it wins on what that price gets you. You're not buying a bare-bones machine. You're getting a world superbike-inspired piece of engineering capable of embarrassing superbikes twice its cost. Harley, by contrast, continues to charge more for dated architecture, minimal electronic support, and a weight class better suited for parades than performance. It's like comparing a carbon fiber katana to a heavy ceremonial sword, one's built for speed, the other for show. And yet the legacy buyer still hesitates. Why? Because Harley has sold the idea that price equals prestige, that higher cost equals higher quality. But what happens when that equation no longer adds up? What happens when a younger, hungrier brand offers better engineering, better tech, and better value? That's where Kawasaki comes in, not as a rival, but as a disruptor. It doesn't ask you to abandon brand loyalty, it demands you question it. And once you start asking questions, the next one is obvious. If the Ninja ZX-10R is this affordable, just how badly does it humiliate Harley where it matters most? On the road. Before we go further, if this breakdown is hitting home, drop a like and share your take in the comments. The motorcycle world's changing fast, and your voice matters more than ever. Harley's not just behind, it's getting smoked. The ZX-10R does 0 to 60 before the Harley finishes a thought. That's not an insult, it's math. While Harley's top cruisers can take over 4 seconds to hit 60 miles per hour, the Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R can do it in just 2.8 seconds. That's race-bred acceleration built for track domination, not coffee shop cruising. The Harley-Davidson Fat Boy? Beautiful, iconic, heavy. It tips the scales at over 300 kilograms. It's a bike you feel more than you flick. The Ninja ZX-10R? A sleek missile weighing barely 200 kilograms wet. On the street or the track, every kilogram counts, and every ounce of weight that Kawasaki trims become raw speed in your hands. But it's not just about 0 to 60. The ZX-10R tops out at speeds over 290 kilometers per hour. Harley's big tourers rarely cross 180, and even then, they feel strained. The Ninja? It begs you to push harder. It invites velocity. This is a motorcycle that shares its DNA with Kawasaki's WSBK winning machines. The same engineering principles that helped Jonathan Rea claim 6 consecutive World Superbike titles are embedded in the frame, engine, and aero design of the ZX. 10R. Meanwhile, Harley is still clinging to its V-twin roots, celebrating thumping low-end torque and a sound profile that prioritizes feel over function. That might appeal to purists, but when a ZX-10R rider can shift through 6 gears in less time than a Harley rider can clear an intersection, there's not much left to argue. Performance isn't about feelings, it's about facts. And the facts say this: The Ninja ZX 10R doesn't merely outperform Harley's cruisers, it obliterates them. From standing start to redline, from apex to exit, from dollar to horsepower, the difference is so vast it feels unfair. But even unfair advantages have a limit, right? Because all the speed in the world won't matter if your bike breaks down when it matters most. If you're riding smarter, don't stop at the bike. We handpick the gear that actually holds up. Check the description for our top picks. Ride more, wrench less. That's the Kawasaki way. Harley owners call their mechanic by first name. Kawasaki riders barely know one exists. It's a truth that's been whispered across biker forums, roadside bars, and countless garage visits. Harleys require care, patience, and often frequent repair. Some riders wear that as a badge of honor. Others wear it like a financial anchor. Kawasaki, on the other hand, builds machines to run. The ZX-10R isn't just fast, it's durable. That's not just marketing hype. Owners report 10 years of track use with minimal part failure. Oil changes? Easy. Maintenance intervals? Predictable. And the parts? Available, global, and affordable. Kawasaki engineered the ZX-10R with mass reliability in mind because they knew they weren't just building race machines. They were building everyday bikes for people who actually ride. Harleys, in contrast, have a more intimate relationship with the repair shop. Belts snap, electrical gremlins appear. Older bikes leak oil like an aging faucet. And while some riders shrug it off as part of the charm, that charm gets old when you're stranded on the side of a highway in 90-degree heat. And let's not forget dealer networks. Kawasaki has global reach. Its parts are stocked from Southeast Asia to South America. You can find spares in India, the Philippines, and beyond. Try finding a Harley part without waiting 2 weeks and paying import fees. Reliability isn't a sexy stat. It doesn't make headlines, but it changes lives. It determines whether you finish a trip or cancel it, whether your ride is exhilarating or exhausting. And the ZX-10R doesn't just give you speed, it gives you peace of mind. Of course, reliability is only part of the equation because the ZX-10R doesn't just survive, it evolves. And what Kawasaki has done with technology, that's where things really get lopsided. While others look back, Kawasaki looks forward. Launch control, IMU, traction maps. Features Harley riders still dream about. For a long time, Harley-Davidson seemed content with giving riders the bare minimum in rider aids. Cruise control? Maybe. ABS? Sometimes. Touchscreen nav? On premium tourers, perhaps. But when it comes to real performance tech, Harley barely registers. Enter the Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R, a motorcycle that thinks as fast as it rides. Its 6-axis inertial measurement unit doesn't just detect lean angle, it dynamically adjusts traction control, cornering ABS and engine mapping in real time. It's like having a co-pilot with race instincts wired directly into the frame. Then there's Kawasaki Launch Control Mode, an electronically regulated start system that allows full throttle takeoffs without overwhelming the rear tire. Electronic steering dampers, power mode selectors, quick shifters that let you climb gears without touching the clutch. These aren't gimmicks, they're game changers. They let ordinary riders push extraordinary limits with confidence and control. Harley? It's like handing someone a rotary phone in a world of smartphones. Some riders love that analog feel, but for those who want their bike to adapt to them rather than the other way around, Harley simply doesn't offer the tools. This isn't just about riding fast, it's about riding safer, smarter, and more in sync with the machine. The ZX-10R makes every corner feel like a conversation, not a confrontation. It senses what's happening before you even process it and responds before you can react. Kawasaki didn't just design a bike, they designed a neural network on wheels, one that responds to you, evolves with you, and protects you. But all that engineering brilliance only matters if it holds up in the real world and in your wallet. The price is low. The stakes? Maybe not. Some bikes cost more after you buy them than when you do, and that's where Harley's trap really begins. At first glance, the ZX-10R's lower sticker price looks like the biggest win, but it's the hidden costs, ownership, insurance, licensing, and fees that truly separate these two machines. Harley buyers often face inflated premiums, higher taxes, and state fees designed around weight and displacement. The cruiser class carries a financial penalty no one talks about until the papers are signed. Now compare that with Kawasaki's Ninja ZX-10R. Insurance companies love it, not because it's slow, but because it's engineered for safety, agility, and reliability. It meets emission standards without drama, slides through inspections, and avoids the bureaucratic baggage attached to bulkier machines. Over 5 years, the difference is staggering. One machine quietly saves you thousands. The other bleeds you monthly. And it doesn't end there. Harley's resale drop, combined with ownership inflation, means that 5 years later you've spent more and kept less. ZX-10R owners, on the other hand, ride knowing every mile costs less and pays back more. But price isn't just about paper, it's about pain. And some riders are feeling it more often than others. No downtime, just go time. The ZX-10R needs a wrench occasionally. The Harley needs one like its family. Here's the truth. Owning a Harley means budgeting for downtime. Chain issues, belt slaps, oil leaks, sensor faults. The legacy V-twin design may sound glorious, but it carries more maintenance baggage than most riders expect. And it doesn't just cost money, it costs trust. Ask a Harley owner how often they visit the service center. You'll hear the same story, different state. Annual trips turn into quarterly visits. Some riders even name their mechanic. Now ask a ZX-10R owner. They won't name a shop, they might not even know one. The Ninja platform is ruthlessly efficient. Its engine doesn't just last, it glides. Scheduled maintenance is straightforward. Valve checks are spaced. Fluid systems are clean. It's a bike built to be ridden, not babied. Consumables, tires, brakes, chain, that's it. No mystery knocks, no recurring gremlins, no haunting feeling that something's about to go wrong. This isn't a jab at heritage, it's a statement on engineering. The ZX-10R was built with purpose, not nostalgia. And that design clarity gives riders something Harley hasn't delivered in decades: peace of mind. But the real test isn't just a few years, it's a full decade. Even in 2035, it'll still make cruisers sweat. This bike doesn't get old, it gets meaner. While Harley cruisers begin to show their age with heat fatigue, electrical quirks, and deteriorating finishes, the Kawasaki ZX-10R keeps ticking. Its frame doesn't flex, its engine doesn't soften, and its performance doesn't fade, it sharpens. The reason is simple. Kawasaki doesn't build to retire. They build to last. 10-year-old ZX-10Rs are still hitting the track, still carving mountain passes, still pulling strong on dynos with compression numbers that would make a Harley tech flinch. Meanwhile, cruisers the same age are limping through rebuilds or rusting under covers. Part of that is materials. The ZX-10R's aluminum twin-spar chassis, coated internals, and high-tolerance machining don't degrade the way steel-framed cruisers do. Part of it is design. The high-revving inline-4 is made to be run, pushed, revved, not just shown off at bike night. And part of it is the rider. Ninja owners ride harder, but their machines are built for it. Which means when it comes time to sell or keep riding, they've got something worth passing on, not apologizing for. But even if a bike lasts forever, it only matters if it works in the real world. Every day, every mile. The street is its battlefield, and it's always armed. You don't need to pick a weekend. The Ninja is ready every day. Despite its track-focused DNA, the ZX-10R delivers in places Harley was never meant to go. Traffic, cities, daily commutes, quick runs, and backroad escapes. Riders don't need to choose between fun and function. The Ninja brings both. Fuel range? Efficient even under throttle. Ergonomics? Surprisingly forgiving once you learn the posture. Heat management? Kawasaki knows how to cool an engine under pressure. No more leg-scorching city crawls. Storage? Add soft bags and it tours better than most mid-weight cruisers. And the power? Always there. Whether you're slicing through rush hour or punching past traffic on the open road, the ZX-10R isn't just responsive, it's explosive. That makes it not just usable, but thrilling. Every ride becomes a statement. This isn't a toy, it's a machine with purpose. Comfort doesn't just mean plush seats, it means confidence, control, freedom, the kind that lets you ride 7 days a week, not just sunny Saturdays. Because at the end of the day, performance isn't just about speed, it's about how many days you ride. And with the Ninja, the answer is simple. All of them. Harley's aura is fading. Fast. What once symbolized rebellion now smells like retirement. For decades, Harley-Davidson wasn't just a motorcycle, it was a statement. Owning one meant something. You weren't just riding a bike, you were riding into legend. But now, that legacy is rusting. The average Harley rider is pushing 60, and the mystique that once drew in free spirits is being outpaced by a newer, faster, younger wave. And that wave is riding something very different. The Kawasaki Ninja ZX. 10R doesn't need nostalgia. It runs on results. It doesn't echo the past. It writes the future. The riders are younger, sharper, more connected. They're not buying in for image. They're buying in for precision, speed, and brutal efficiency. The Ninja isn't a prop in a movie scene. It's a scalpel built for the real world. This isn't just a brand shift. It's an identity shift. The Harley symbol once meant freedom. Now it feels like resistance to change. Meanwhile, Kawasaki has become the flag bearer for a new kind of rider. Less leather, more data. Less loud, more lethal. But if Harley's image is fading in the showroom, it's vanishing entirely on the racetrack. Glory's not an accident, it's a machine. The ZX-10R wasn't born in a focus group, it was forged on podiums. Kawasaki's World Superbike Championship record speaks louder than any exhaust note. 6 consecutive world titles. Dozens of victories across circuits designed to test every weakness. This isn't marketing, it's proof. And Harley, they're not even on the track. Their world is built on weekend cruises and polished chrome. That's not a sin, but it's no longer enough. Because when riders look for the real thing, they don't want hearsay. They want history. They want to know their machine was bred to dominate, not just decorate. The Ninja ZX-10R was built under pressure, high heat, high stakes, real riders, real consequences. Every line, every switch, every curve was carved through competition. It's not a sport bike pretending to be special. It's the bike everyone else is still chasing. The track doesn't lie. And more importantly, it doesn't care about branding. But even off the track, the Ninja keeps pulling ahead. Because while Harley's value fades with time, the ZX-10R holds tight. Corners hard, depreciates slow. Harley riders lose thousands on loyalty. Kawasaki riders lose nothing but air resistance. On paper, Harleys cost more. But the real surprise comes 2 years later, when that same Harley struggles to sell for anything close to what it was worth. Depreciation hits cruisers hard. Their premium feel ages fast, and as newer, tech-savvier competitors emerge, yesterday's chrome starts looking like tomorrow's regret. Dealerships know it, private buyers know it, and the resale market has already shifted. The ZX-10R? Different story. Sport bikes that perform at the highest level and prove it on the road and track retain value with surgical precision. Used Ninjas are snapped up fast. Why? Because performance never goes out of style, and because their owners don't just ride, they maintain. Fewer breakdowns, fewer secrets, and a reputation for brutal longevity give buyers confidence long after the first owner moves on. The result? You're not just buying a better bike, you're buying smarter. The ZX-10R doesn't just ride well, it exits the garage with equity still intact. But resale value isn't everything, because for many, the real investment is in the people who ride beside you. This isn't a bike brand, it's a family in motion. One tribe rides for nostalgia, the other rides for blood. Harley riders have long built their culture around the past. Vintage aesthetics, traditional rides, and tight-knit aging clubs. It's a loyal circle, but increasingly closed off. Show up with the wrong jacket or the wrong badge, and you're not just outside the group. You're invisible. Now step into the Kawasaki world. Track days, group rides, and global forums buzzing with telemetry, mods, and footage from last Sunday's Canyon Sprint. It's not about who you know, it's about how you ride. The ZX-10R community isn't built on heritage, it's built on heat. Everyone's improving, everyone's racing, everyone's pushing. And when you show up on a Ninja, the welcome isn't just open, it's hungry. New riders are encouraged, not judged. Mods are shared, not hidden. It's less about history and more about hustle. This is where motorcycle culture is evolving, from exclusivity to accessibility, from ego to energy, from brand to bond. And that fight, it doesn't end in the parking lot, it hits the global economy next. Lori's not an accident, it's a machine. The ZX-10R wasn't born in a focus group, it was forged on podiums. Kawasaki's World Superbike Championship record speaks louder than any exhaust note. 6 consecutive world titles, dozens of victories across circuits designed to test every weakness. This isn't marketing, it's proof. And Harley, they're not even on the track. Their world is built on weekend cruises and polished chrome. That's not a sin, but it's no longer enough. Because when riders look for the real thing, they don't want hearsay, they want history. They want to know their machine was bred to dominate, not just decorate. The Ninja ZX-10R was built under pressure. High heat, high stakes, real riders, real consequences. Every line, every switch, every curve was carved through competition. It's not a sport bike pretending to be special, it's the bike everyone else is still chasing. The track doesn't lie, and more importantly, it doesn't care about branding. But even off the track, the Ninja keeps pulling ahead, because while Harley's value fades with time, the ZX-10R holds tight. One release, total disruption. While Harley was polishing chrome, Kawasaki was rewriting strategy manuals, and they didn't just challenge the cruiser market, they detonated it. The moment the Ninja ZX-10R hit global markets with performance, tech, and value at its core, something cracked across boardrooms everywhere. Because if one machine can deliver more for half the price, what does that say about everyone else? OEMs are scrambling. Yamaha's R-Series is being pushed harder. BMW is pouring resources into track performance hybrids. Even legacy European brands are shifting budgets away from touring and into tech-first machines. But Harley? They're stuck. Their most iconic models rely on weight, image, and tradition, while consumer behavior now demands speed, integration, and agility. This is more than a shift in demand. It's a generational revolt. The average age of a Harley buyer is well over 50. For Kawasaki, riders in their 20s and 30s are flooding in. It's not just about what looks cool, it's about what delivers. And ZX-10R owners aren't just buying a bike, they're buying into the future. The fallout isn't hypothetical. Global sales reports show a sharp rise in sport bike demand under 1,000 cubic centimeters, right where Kawasaki dominates. Cruiser sales, especially in Asia and Europe, are slumping. And as Kawasaki continues to scale, the old pricing models that Harley depended on are starting to collapse. But product lines are just one part of the storm, because if there's anything governments care about more than consumer behavior, it's carbon. The system's moving on and leaving nostalgia in the dust. The bikes that roar the loudest are going extinct the fastest. In city after city, law after law, the world is closing in on engines that pollute, heat, and scream. Euro 5 regulations already forced many manufacturers to update or kill entire models. The United States isn't far behind, with new EPA benchmarks on emissions and noise creeping into every corner of the industry. Kawasaki read the signs early. The ZX-10R was built with emissions compliance baked in. Liquid-cooled, efficient, and tested against the harshest standards in Europe and Asia. It adapts, it adjusts, It clears the bar. Harley, however, is fighting gravity. Their air-cooled engines, while iconic, struggle under modern compliance. Sound restrictions clash with their signature thunder. Emission caps crush their low RPM tuning, and every update adds weight, cost, or compromises the very thing their loyalists buy them for. Cities like Paris, Rome, and Berlin are moving to ban or fine non-compliant motorcycles. Electric zones are expanding. In this world, lean, quiet, and adaptable isn't optional. It's survival. The ZX-10R didn't just meet the line, it crossed it confidently. Harley's only lifeline is reinvention, but that means abandoning everything they've built their identity on. And that's where the real pain begins. Not in emissions, but in what it costs to change the machine behind the machine. It's bigger than bikers. The ripple is everywhere. This isn't just about torque and tech, it's about livelihoods. When a machine like the ZX-10R enters the market with low maintenance needs, durable parts, and digital systems, it doesn't just hit rival brands, it hits the ecosystem around them. Harley-Davidson's dealer network runs on service. Their bikes require more hands, more hours, and more recurring repairs. That's how technicians stay employed. That's how small-town shops survive. But as sales shrink and riders shift toward lower maintenance machines, those jobs are drying up. Kawasaki by design requires fewer interventions. A ZX 10R might go thousands of kilometers between valve checks. Oil systems stay clean. Parts are modular, often interchangeable with other models. For riders, that's freedom. For mechanics trained in V-twins and belt drives, it's unemployment. Factories feel the shift too. Harley's manufacturing operations, rooted in traditional machining and US-based labor, are more expensive to run. Kawasaki's production is faster, leaner, and globally distributed. It's not just that they build better bikes cheaper, it's that they build them smarter. Even retraining programs for mechanics are struggling to keep up. Digital diagnostics, ECU tuning, traction maps, these aren't skills taught in traditional wrench-turning programs. They're software disciplines. And without them, a generation of technicians could be left behind. But where the labor goes, the money follows. And right now, investors are watching which direction the road bends. If you're still here, you already know this isn't surface level. Subscribe now, because what's coming next might just change what you ride forever. Want to know who won? Just watch where the money went. One company built a racing machine, the other built a brand bubble, and Wall Street is starting to notice. Kawasaki stock is rising, not just from ZX-10R sales, but from confidence in its roadmap, high-performance machines, future-proof tech, and a global footprint that thrives under pressure. Harley-Davidson, by contrast, is wobbling. Despite bursts of optimism around electric models and heritage drops, the fundamentals are shaky. Their profit margin depends on high-ticket sales to a shrinking demographic. Their global penetration is thin, and their attempts to diversify have stumbled. Livewire underperformed, international sales are uneven, and their core product is under siege. Investors aren't blind. When the average sport bike buyer returns for accessories, track gear, and upgrades, and stays brand loyal for life, it's a retention cycle Harley can't match. Kawasaki isn't just selling machines, they're selling identity that evolves. Shareholders want scalability. Kawasaki offers modular platforms, flexible pricing, and volume. Harley offers prestige, built on a foundation that's already cracking. And now the market is asking the one question Harley can't answer. If another company gives riders more of what they want, for less, how long can your image hold the line? This wasn't just a comparison, it was a wake-up call. Because if this hit you hard, what Indian just unveiled will leave you stunned. Watch now. Indian just unveiled 5 new bikes for 2026. The industry is stunned. Or dive into the full takedown. This Japanese bike destroys Harley in every way for half the price. Either way, subscribe, because the next truth might just change what you ride.